निकला तू उसकी बाहों में, चलती भटकी कपाहों में, हल्की पड़ती फसाओं में, अब आओ रे सबकी चर्बी में खिंचाव, लटकी नस में क्या कल का जो गाना।
Finally making a video on how I edit my photos. What's up people, this is Simon Rajan here. So today we are going to see about how I edit my photos in Lightroom. So this has been the most asked video by all of you guys on Instagram. So yeah, I think we're finally doing it. I know it has been a while since I have been much active on Instagram, until I threw up a few pictures of Preeta on Instagram a few days ago. That was last week's content. So anyway, yeah, I have a few more pictures from that shoot. We just clicked some cool pictures for 100 kmph, a clothing brand. So yeah, I just thought I'll just show you how I edit one of those pictures on Lightroom. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. So let's begin by importing the picture into Lightroom. In this case, the picture is already there. Okay, so this is the picture that we are going to be editing. The previous pictures and the others of this series have already been graded. As you can see, I have maintained a subtle tone onto it. So we're going to be doing the same thing on this, except that it's going to be having a blue tint to it. So let's start by adjusting the highlights and the contrast of the image. For this image, it's a bit overexposed, so I would like to start by reducing the highlights and the exposure of the whole picture. So as you can see, it has brought down some of the definition of the sky as well as the t-shirt, and I have bumped up the shadows a little, just a little, around 10 or something, to bring out the details from her hair. So yeah, perfect. Right now our initial light adjustments are done. So next thing is clarity and dehaze. Just a little bit of clarity and dehaze would do. Overdoing this can actually result to this disaster. So as I was saying, I'm going to be maintaining it subtle, so I would like to reduce the vibrance and the saturation sliders. I always prefer desaturated tones than oversaturated ones. It is not a general rule of thumb, but I always prefer for it. Okay, since we are going for the blue tint, I would like to move down the white balance slider, which is the temperature slider, towards the blue tint. Somewhere around 5400 would look apt for this picture. So as you can see, the picture has already gained its moody tone. So yep, done with that. We'll just head down to the HSL column. HSL is somewhere where you can individually play around with all the different colors present inside the picture. In this case, it's majorly blue and a bit of green on the background on the plants, so I like to maintain it somewhere around there. So it is all up to you. It is your personal preferences for every single picture. So except that while you're playing around with colors like red and orange, you gotta be a little careful if there are people in the picture. Everyone's skin is mostly composed of orange, so while you're playing around the hue slider for the orange color, you gotta be a little careful about your selection. Somewhere around -20 looks good. Saturating it or desaturating it is going to make it harsh and not look so pleasing, so I would like to maintain it somewhere very subtle. And here is a quick tip: you can actually make someone look a little brighter by adjusting the luminance of orange. Heading down to the blue, as you can see, the whole picture being composed of blue, and when I move the hue slider a little bit towards the aqua, you can see that the whole picture and the whole scenario is turning towards aqua. So I'd like to keep it subtle as well, so around -9 will look perfect. Yeah, and desaturate it a bit, and luminance, yes, there you go, that would do. Sometimes it becomes difficult for you to find out where the individual colors are present in a picture. For this case, it's aqua. So you can just identify it by either oversaturating it or playing around the hues and looking at the picture at the same time. So I think we're pretty much done in the HSL panel. So this is gonna be the color we are going to be maintaining for the picture. So the next thing is, since we have shot this in a 16mm Sigma lens, it being a wide angle lens, this lens can produce images with substantial amount of distortion. So you can remove it, correct it by using the enable profile corrections option. As you can see, you can play around here as well. We're heading up to the split toning section right now. So for this picture, I would like to maintain a blue tone throughout the highlights and a magenta for the shadows maybe. So the key to split toning is keeping it as lesser and as smooth as possible. The more subtle it looks, the more pleasing the picture becomes. So once we're done with the split toning, we are heading up to the tone curve adjustment. This is where all the magic of a picture happens. A tone curve adjustment can add so much of effect to the picture. For me, I would always like to have a moody effect to my pictures by giving that little faded away look. So what I do is make a standard S curve, as you can see, by placing 3 points on the 3 intersections of the square and moving the first and the third point up and down, making an S. So the standard S curve can actually boost up the contrast, but you can always come back to the contrast sliders and decontrast it if you want it to be, because the details on the hair is being lost, it's becoming dark. So I would like to decontrast it a bit to achieve that little faded look for the picture. I would like to move the final point a little upward, just like that. Yeah, somewhere around there looks fine to me. So yeah, that looks fine to me, that looks great. So one last thing that I would like to do to this picture is do some mild skin retouching maybe. So you can actually do this by bringing up the brush tool. Select the brush tool and head down to the clarity and texture, reduce it drastically somewhere around -50 to -60, and then start painting it over. You can always come back to the adjustment of the individual brush. Temperature needs to be 0. So this is not a professional way of retouching your skin, but this does help a lot. For those who don't really have the time for Photoshop, they can actually go for this technique. Instagram crop, which is 4:5. So that's basically it, and you're all set to go. So this is something really basic. The next of my tutorials would be a little more advanced, indulging how you can get creative with the radial and the gradient filters in Lightroom. And yeah, thank you for watching. I just hope you found this video really helpful. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.